Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for a controversial view. Now, today we're going to be talking about the cult classic Heathers. Now, my history with Heathers is pretty extensive. Now, this is a movie I watched so many times. And when it came out in 1988, I was pretty much obsessed with it. And I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought it was something refreshing and something very different for its time. And I gravitated towards it because it's very hard to classify a movie like this. This movie has comedy, it has horror, it has, drama. So it's very hard to classify. So hard to classify that I actually have 4 copies of it. And this was the only one I could find. Now, I'm sure if I look around a lot, I'll be able to find the other ones. And my collection pales in comparison to what Joe has. But I did find a Heather McNamara cover. I also have the Veronica Sawyer cover and the Blu-ray. Not the Arrow Blu-ray, but the Anchor Bay Blu-ray. I think it was the one of the anniversary Blu-rays. And my first copy on DVD was the Image. I believe it's Image. I always get Elite and Image mixed up. I don't know. It's probably the Image one. So I have a lot of history with this movie, but it had been a while since I'd seen it. And I know that Joe wanted to do this for Controversial View. So let's talk about the controversy behind Heathers, which should be fairly obvious. This is a movie that, like I said, I'm quite fond of. And the controversy, of course, is dealing with school, is dealing with suicide, and it's dealing with like school bombings and school shootings and stuff like that, which I know is a tricky subject. I know it's a triggering subject, um, but I'm just wondering why it's not triggering, but why when I'm reading articles and a 24-year-old has seen this for the first time, he wants the movie canceled because he's so offended. Granted, um, what has happened in the schools, the school shootings and stuff, has been horrible. I'm not saying I don't empathize with the people. I'm not saying I don't empathize with the parents who have lost a child. It's horrible and it never should have happened. However, I'm saying that maybe Gen Z is a little bit too stuffy, maybe a little too touchy. Because when I was in high school, all those many years ago, and I first saw Heathers when I was in high school, we had threats of school bombings to where we had to go out into the field, either the football field. I think Joe had to go out to the football field when his happened one time. We had to go out to the basketball courts that were directly adjacent to the school, and this was on more than one occasion. Um, Fortunately, the school never blew up and nothing happened, and no one was hurt. Of course, that's not the way things are today. A lot of people did get hurt, and even back then, things would happen, but it was nothing like the horrors we've seen today. Which, like I'm saying, it doesn't mean I don't empathize. I do. I think the worst thing that happened in my high school was um, there was talk that this kid was bringing a gun in, so this other kid who he was supposed to fight brought a lead pipe in and really hurt the kid bad to the point where I never saw the kid again. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but I know, he hit the kid in the head several times. Like I said, I don't know what happened to the kid, but it was a very scary situation. So it's not like things didn't happen in my school as well for that time period. And I remember my mother telling me in school, when she was in school, of course, they had these bomb drills where you had to go underneath your desks. And I'm sure when you've seen some of the older films where this is depicted, or you had to go outside in the hallways or in the basement and cover your head. Now, we didn't have to do anything like that, but we also had bomb threats where we had to evacuate the school, as I was saying before. Now, as far as the school shooting goes, it was kind of played off like a joke. Um, and what's weird about this movie, it has a very dreamlike quality. Um, when JD shoots the two jocks, he doesn't actually do it in the school. He does it somewhere else. So it's kind of played off as a joke. Granted, may not be a funny joke, but this is meant to be a dark comedy. Kind of not making fun of suicide, but treating suicide as a, not that it's not a serious subject, but it really takes a look at the subject matter as far as suicide and school shootings and all that kind of stuff goes, and school bombings as well. Now, I was surprised to hear that Heather's got a release from Arrow, because I figured with today's cancel culture, no one would want to touch that film. I mean, look at it this way: Anchor Bay produced 5 different covers with, of course, they had JD, they had Veronica, they had Heather McNamara, Heather Chandler, and of course the Shannon Doherty cover. And then they had the regular covers. They had the locker. That, I mean, they had so many different releases of Heather's that I figured a lot of people wouldn't want to touch it these days because of how sensitive, maybe that's the word I'm looking for, sensitive Gen Z is, and would a boutique label take it on? So I was surprised when Heather's got the Arrow Blu-ray treatment. I didn't get it myself because, like I said, I had 4 copies and I'm having trouble finding those. So adding another copy is kind of stupid if I can't find the ones I have. Like I said, they're around here somewhere. I just have to look harder for them. They weren't in the places I thought they would be. And I think my twisted mind, being what it is, since it's both horror and dark comedy and regular comedy and drama, I probably have some of them in my regular movie section, and this one I actually found in my horror section because this was the last copy of Heather's that I got. Um, Maybe last year, year before. If I see them at a thrift store and they're a different cover, I pick them up. Like I said, my first copy was the image copy, and then the Veronica one, and then the Blu-ray, and then I found this one, last. So it's just a movie I've always been fond of, and I'm curious to what you guys think. Is Gen Z a little too sensitive, or maybe the older generation, are the older generations just too callous? We've been through so much, and not much phases us. I don't know. Good question to put to you guys. Just remember to keep it nice. And don't forget to check out Joe's controversial view for Heathers. I definitely recommend you watch it. Just remember that different things trigger different people. And, you know, if it needs to have a trigger warning, so be it, I guess. And remember, guys, physical media matters. And until next time.